Ja.
Står der et sted, hvor mange der er med, eller?
Ja, det gør der hurtigt.
Ja, eller? Ja. Kan der kun være 200 med til at se?
Nej, det er bare kommentarer.
Nå, okay.
Mange symboler i kommentarfeltet. Hello there. So you all know who it is, but for once, I actually have another person with me this time. It is Lars, whom you might have seen in some of my old reviews from, 5 years ago?
Maybe even further.
Yeah. And he's also been in a few of the podcasts that have been uploaded, pretty much all of them, actually. So, we actually had a few subjects to talk about earlier, but we kind of agreed that it might not have been such a good idea. It's something that does usually spark a lot of debate. So, well, Lars, introduce yourself a little bit.
Why? They already know who I am.
If they've seen the podcast, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
So, well, we'll see about that. In either case, this will be uploaded like a normal video after.
Yeah. As always.
Pretty much.
Same procedure as last year.
We didn't make any podcasts last year.
No, it's just an expression.
The force isn't with that one. All right. So, him and me actually do have quite a few differing viewpoints on the Star Wars universe, or at least some aspects of it.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to favorite ships, and we've been debating that over and over and over, pretty much, for years.
Yeah, probably.
So, why don't you tell us your top 3 favorites?
Top 3? Depends. Do I have to restrict it to eras or?
Top 3 overall. After that, you can take eras if you want.
Okay, top 3. Well, I think on the third, I would take the Venator. Good all-around ship, mostly a carrier, if you look on its design.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot of fighters. What was it, 300 or something?
I think it's 420.
420 in total.
Mm.
So, yeah, that is one of them. Also because it could land on ground.
Yeah, we see that on Kashyyyk in episode 3.
Yeah, and you can also see it if you have seen the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
They come down for landings.
Yeah. Oh, hello there, Emperor Ben. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. So, unfortunately, you missed the very first part of the live stream, but it's Lars, my good friend who I've known for over a decade now, and he's been in pretty much every one of the podcasts.
Yeah, for until now, at least.
Yeah.
You haven't made one without me.
No, I don't think I have.
No.
We've made some discussion videos about a year ago, or 2.
Yeah, and I have helped you with quite a few of your projects, such as your reviews on the Lego sets.
Yeah, we go way back. And we just met randomly on a school, figured out we were both Star Wars fans, so
yeah,
it's actually how it all started.
Yeah, that's funny.
And don't worry, it's not beer. It's cola.
Yeah. And back to the top 3. Well,
the Venator. Venator on the 3rd spot.
Yeah. And then number 3, I would probably say the MC90. Because, well, I have used it quite a lot in Star Wars mods for Empire at War, Forces of Corruption.
Yes.
And like Thrawn's Revenge, it's one of the more powerful ships. Has some good fighters and that. Of course, I don't really remember much of it from the Wikipedia site. But, well, as most people know, Disney says it's not canon, but for me, it's still canon. While their own movies and whatever they are making, except maybe the comics, they are canon, in my eyes.
Rogue One.
Rogue One is still a good movie, yes. But that one also ties into the original trilogy. So that I can like.
Yeah, same. And that Vader scene, though.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. But yeah, the MC90, because it's a good all-around ship, at least in the mod. It can stand up to most of the Imperial ships, except the bigger ones, like the battle cruisers.
Can pretty much take anything down from the Tector class Star Destroyer and down.
Yeah.
And the Tector class Star Destroyer is basically just an Imperial 2 without a hangar. And some more powerful weapons and some more powerful armor. That's basically it.
Because its reactor is bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, number one, you know that already. New Republic's most powerful destroyer line,
Yeah.
the Nebula class, because, well, it just looks awesome. It might be smaller than the Imperial class, but still, it packs a punch. It can compare with it, even though it's about 450 meters shorter. No, 550.
Yeah, something like it.
Yeah, because it's only 1,050.
40.
40 then. So then it's 560 shorter.
Yeah, well.
But still, it puts up a good fight with the others.
Oh, you're sure? You're sure about that, Ben?
Well, I would not agree on that. That's not the home one that's your favorite.
It's definitely up there with my favorite ships.
It is.
Hmm. But your actual favorite ship? You just said it was the Nebula class Star Destroyer.
Yeah, New Republic designed.
Yeah. If you're curious to know more about it, I actually made a versus video of the MC90 versus the Nebula class. Could be checked out. Can put it in a card in the video when it's uploaded. But yeah, when it comes to my top favorite ships, at least the top three, in all honesty, I have no idea.
No, because there's so many to pick. It
Yes.
can be rough.
Yeah. And if we also have to take fighters into account.
Well, if you just have to keep into the capital ship range.
Well, in that case, I will pretty much also put the Venator at the third spot. For pretty much the same reasons as you, except that those DBY 827 heavy dual turbo laser cannons.
They are some
Ow.
shit.
Yeah.
If you're in the receiving end, of course.
Face those things forward and they can fire their full battery. Those things pack a punch that's pretty much equal to an Imperial 1 class Star Destroyer. Pretty much just below, but still pretty powerful.
And those are quadruple turrets.
Mm.
Where the Venator only has dual.
Yeah.
So that you can already say, well, it might be a dual against a quadruple, but if the dual still can compete, well, damn.
Yeah. And not only that, but also remember that those huge cannons, they can spin a full 360 degrees in 3 seconds, and they can pretty much be configured to shoot down fighters. And we're talking about guns that are, well, if anyone's ever seen an American battleship, I think the guns on a Venator are even bigger than that. Much bigger, actually.
Probably.
So.
Well, it's two different universes. It's ours against the Star Wars universe, which is a sci-fi universe.
Well, true, but if you look at some of the big turrets on ships from World War II, like the Bismarck, you can actually draw quite a few similarities between that and the dual heavy turbo lasers on the Venators.
True.
At least in design. And second spot? I don't know. But my actual favorite ship is probably... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did see something about it. I think Star Wars Explained actually uploaded a video about it. But that's pretty much all I've seen.
Which live show and action show is that?
Cassian Andor.
Oh, yeah, that was the guy from Rogue One, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually, when I heard about it, I was like, why make one about him? Because, well, I don't find him that interesting in the movie generally.
No, but he has become a fan favorite.
That's true. When also he plays his role really great.
He does.
But I can't see why should we have a live action series about him. I can't.
Now, it does make more sense to actually make a live action series about the Mandalorians, for example, which have also been in the works.
It is in the works right now.
Yeah. Wasn't it the directors from Game of Thrones who were supposed to make it?
Yes.
Figures.
When they're finished with the Game of Thrones, they are starting on the Mandalorian.
Bloody hell. That's all I can say.
Yeah, they almost finished with Game of Thrones.
Hmm.
I think they are laying the last hands on it now, and then it should be ready for, was it next year?
Probably.
Then the last season should come out.
Probably. So, but yeah, we did hear about it, but we haven't actually discussed it very much because neither of us have really been studying very much about it so far.
No, not really. I think like currently, I think it's the fault of The Last Jedi that I am not that much into the new stuff that comes out. Well, we can only wait and see.
Yeah.
I will, of course, try to look at it and see if it's something for me. If it's not, well, then it's just that bad for them.
True. And now, okay, good. So it was an answer to the comment. Good. Oh, but back to my second favorite. I have absolutely no idea. Could be any MC-80 pretty much. Could be. Good question.
Well, I know one of your favorite ships is the Majestic class.
You know what? Let's just put it in the second place.
Number one then?
MC-90, obviously.
Okay, I thought you were going bigger.
Oh, you mean the Viscount? Or Viscount, some would call it?
Even bigger. No, yes, true. Sorry, I switched around on two ships.
Oh.
Mediator.
Yes. Well, the Meteor was pretty awesome. I mean, that thing could withstand a nuclear blast in its hangar.
Yeah, where an Imperial class would have blown itself into pieces.
Pretty much. I mean, the Imperial class... We've already spent an hour talking about that in the past. And that video was a nightmare to edit, by the way.
Well, good that you only have to do the editing.
I'm
just taking part.
Yeah, fortunately, there's no editing for this one.
True. It
So-
just gets uploaded.
Yeah, so if we screw up on this one,
It gets on the internet.
yep.
Well, I think the only thing that could go wrong is if the ceiling came down.
You do know I have a knack for loving blowing things up.
True.
Don't tempt me.
That's why you play Empire more for Front Revenge.
I don't anymore because my computer decided to be a
jackass on that.
Hey. That's not nice.
Well, I have always told you a laptop is good enough, but I always recommend a full workstation.
Good point. But it's not very practical, even though the car is big. It's not very practical to always drag a desktop computer with me.
No, that's true, but that's why you have the laptop.
Exactly.
But at home, like me, I always have my workstation.
38 square meter apartment is not very much, you know.
Yeah, I know, I have seen it. You don't have really much space for that.
Nope.
Maybe in the next apartment.
Exactly. So, which we're also considering. So, but then let's take some ground vehicles, any era, anytime, anywhere.
Well, let's take the new ones from The Last Jedi, the Gorilla Walkers.
Oh, the ATM-6?
Yes. Well, its design is pretty awesome in a way, but also it just looks like a copy of an AT-AT.
It's just a beefed up AT-AT. It's nothing but that.
But you can also see, if you watch The Last Jedi, you can see that they are walking beside AT-ATs.
And we just watched that movie earlier today.
Yeah, but maybe you didn't pay attention.
Well, I was kind of on the computer and having the movie running in the background.
Yeah, same. I was playing World of Warcraft.
Oh boy.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, you see them, and you actually see that the M6 is quite larger.
Yes, it is.
I think the back of the AT-AT is about where the stomach begins.
On the ATM-6?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay. Well, regardless, biggest ground vehicle that we've really seen in Star Wars, I would still argue, is the A6 Juggernaut.
Yeah, that's a large vehicle.
That thing is huge.
But that is more or less also a moving base, I would say.
It is, and it's way too huge, way too unreliable, and way too cumbersome.
Well, if we take the game Star Wars Revenge of the Sith for PlayStation 2 into the account, it could move around on a what was it called? On a planet like Utapau.
That's true. But games in that regard,
Yeah, well, you can discuss if they are canon or not.
yeah.
So, not sure.
Oh, and I mean, some things did happen in the Revenge of the Sith PS2 game from 2005 that didn't exactly happen in either in the novels or the movies.
True, like what was called the clone troopers in jet armor with flamethrowers. I'm not sure they have ever covered them in any comics as well.
There is a deleted scene in Episode 3 where Yoda and Obi-Wan are going back to the temple. It's before we see them killing off the stormtroopers. Clone troopers. Yeah, well, you could call them stormtroopers from this point on, but
yeah, but well, they don't have their new armor, so
true. But
they're still clones.
True, but what I'm thinking about is the fact that there's a deleted scene with some clones that are disguised as Jedi and are then trying to fool Obi-Wan and Yoda, whereas Obi-Wan comes with, "You clones make terrible Jedi," and then they're killed.
Yeah. Well, then, I have to look for extra material once.
You can find them all on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So,
but well, also the troopers from the game again. What were they called? The Shadow Troopers, or what they called, with the blades on the arms.
Assassin Troopers.
Assassin Troopers. They were a pain in the game. I can remember.
I usually always tried to kill them through stabbing.
True.
Acting as if it was stabbing north, but then actually doing west or south or whatever.
Yeah, true.
So, for me, that at least was the best way to take them out, because if I remember correctly, even force powers were pretty much useless against them. You didn't hear a thing, did you?
No, I don't know. I assumed they're totally out there.
The movie?
Nah, just so blackout.
Yeah. Well, if you see some flickering here, it's because there is a movie running on his TV in the background, but we muted it. Just for good measure.
Yeah.
So.
But okay, let's take another ground vehicle.
So wait,
the AT-OT.
One of your favorites is actually the AT-M6.
No, it's not one of my favorites.
Oh.
I just thought that we could take that as the first one.
Ah.
But then I also thought, let's take the AT-OT. The open transport version of the all-terrain.
Oh yeah. The one with 8 legs.
Did it have, 8, yeah. True.
Which in Lego is a pain in the know what side to assemble.
Yeah, you have it.
Although everything's packed down in boxes right now, which is a pity. Apart from like 5 sets, which.
Do you have them in the apartment or?
No, I have the dropship from that very set in the apartment. Well, that's only because I couldn't take that thing apart because of the complicated lifting mechanism for that would actually even work for the 2010 clone turbo tank, but also for the ATTE.
Yeah.
And of course the AT-OT, in which that dropship, which is an LAATC, the C stands for carrier, but actually it was part of. And if you want to know the other LAAT, it's the LAATI, or Low Altitude Assault Transport Infantry, which is the one we see picking up the Jedi in the Geonosian Arena.
Yeah, that is the standard version, if you could say it like that.
I'd say they're both standard versions. Just depends on the configuration.
Yeah, but we don't see the other one that often.
Well, true, but we do see it on Geonosis.
True. And we also see it a few times in the Clone Wars.
Second Battle Geonosis?
Yeah, that's a good example, because they see them quite a lot, actually, because they're transferring so many ATTEs.
Yep.
Which is what you can call the predecessor to the AT-OT.
Yeah, well, kinda.
But at least the AT-OT and ATT, they are both still canon, because they're shown in episode 3.
So, that's where I'm a little less certain about the TX-130 Saber class tank, which I would probably argue is my favorite ground vehicle of all time.
Yeah, at least in the repulsor lift department.
Oh, I'm thinking of all time.
Of all time, oh, okay.
And that's basically because it has powerful armor. Well, powerful defense in the sense that it also has deflector shields. It's fairly lightly armored. It has great weapons, and it's really fast and maneuverable. So,
That's true. And then it can also be configured to have a turret.
yeah, later models did have the turret. I think it's the S version and the T version.
Yeah. They were actually quite good because that was, as far as I know, it was a beam cannon, right?
One of them had a beam cannon, the other one had dual laser cannons.
Yeah, the beam one, that was pretty good for mowing down droid squadrons.
Yeah, you saw how effective those kind of beam lasers were on those extra ball lasers on the LAATs in the Geonosian arena.
Yeah.
And those things also cut through some Hellfire droids in the process.
Yeah, when you see that final charge scene.
There's one complaint I have about Attack of the Clones, though. I would have loved to see more of that battle.
Yeah, but you know, if you wanted to see more, they could just make a whole movie about it.
They could. But that would be too long, too tedious.
True.
But instead of only having like a total of, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes of actual battle that we see going on,
True.
Then let's have like, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, around that.
Yeah, I would say so as well.
Some different scenes and some real close combat and everything. So.
Yeah, I also find that the Attack of the Clones could have a longer fight. I find the one in the arena is a good start, but the one on
the one outside, yeah.
That could have been a bit longer because it was kind of too short.
It was. And did you also notice that those Geonosian fighters actually kept shooting at the LAAT that carried Anakin and Obi-Wan to the hangar with with Dooku's solar sailor. And as soon as they jumped off, that thing was blown to pieces.
Plot armor.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Or main character plot. No armor, sorry.
Well, some say it has been confirmed that the stormtroopers were told to miss on purpose in the 4th episode.
Yeah,
in the New Hope, yeah.
Yeah, that also gives a good sense, I would say.
It does make sense. Or plot armor. One of the two. You decide for yourself.
Because, well, I have to think about it. Vader wanted to find the base, and he came up with a good plan. We put the tracker on board the Millennium Falcon, and then made them escape, or let them escape.
Yeah, not only that, but I think Tarkin was in on that plan too.
Yeah, but because when they are talking about it, is it when they just flew off? I can't remember when it came, or it was before they go to Yavin, where they talk about Tarkin and saying he's running a big risk. And he hopes that it works.
Yeah, but also Leia said they let us go.
Yeah.
It was too easy.
So I would say both those statements confirms that it was on purpose that they should go.
Yeah.
Because, well, the interrogation didn't work on Leia.
Nope. Remember, only thing they found was some old ruins of an old scattered rebel base on Dantooine. So she did give an actual location of a rebel base. It was just a former rebel base.
Yeah, because, well, as we know, the Rebel Alliance, they're on the move the most of the time.
Yeah. There's a reason why their headquarters was actually the Home One for a long time.
Yeah, because they were always on the move.
Yep.
Which is understandable. Because, well, you don't want to be a target suddenly.
Nope. That would be painful.
Yep. But I think was the high command of the Alliance, was that also on Home One?
Yeah.
Not at the Battle of Endor. You don't see Mothra or anything.
Well, true. Where did she go?
I actually think I have read that they were on a planet. If the attack should fail.
Probably Sullust, actually.
Probably, yeah, because that was the staging ground.
Yeah, not only that, but Darth Vader even says, what about the reports of the Rebel fleet massing near Sullust?
Yeah, that was where they met. The whole fleet was scattered. After the Battle of Hoth, they had the scatter protocol activated. Where the whole fleet actually just scatters into smaller parts.
Yeah.
Just so if the Imperial finally gets one, they don't get the whole fleet. They just get a part of it.
Exactly. But did you actually notice, and that's something that I've noticed for quite a long time, instead of flying directly out in the face of a Star Destroyer, Why didn't you fly around the planet and then leave?
Oh, you mean in the Battle of Hoth?
Hmm?
I think it's kind of the rotation and because of the protection shield. The shield didn't protect the whole planet. It just protected the section of the base.
Yeah, but the majority of the ships didn't escape until that shield generator had been destroyed.
That's true. But well,
Which took only 2 powered-up blasts from an AT-AT.
Yeah.
Lovely, isn't it?
well, you should also think that is a vehicle on the verse command. He has a like in the game. He has a special AT-AT.
Yeah.
So it's probably powered by some crystals or something.
Maybe.
Some
Kyber crystals?
Maybe, I'm not sure. Like they did on The Force Awakens. If you read about the finalizer, it is enchanted with kyber crystals.
Nice.
So its weapons are much more powerful.
Nice.
I think also the Supremacy, all its cannons are also powered by those crystals.
Well, Snoke is pretty wealthy, so
Yeah,
it should work.
But also you have also to think that they built a whole planet into a super weapon, so they have quite good resources.
They do.
And they also had quite maybe not quite big, but a decent fleet of the, or what is it called, the class?
Resurgent class Star Destroyer.
Battle cruiser.
Yeah.
They are not Star Destroyers.
Oh, wait, they're 3.2 kilometers long, right?
Yeah. They go under the...
They do, according to the Anaxis War College system, which goes from 2 to 5 kilometers, or 2,000 to 5,000 meters. That usually counts everything as a battle cruiser.
Yeah.
Which is what the Malevolence should be, but it was actually called a Subjugator class heavy cruiser, which normally ranks
under 5,500, right?
No, it's I think it's from 750 to 700 or 750, or is it even 800 to 1,000? But
that sounds okay.
Between 700 and 800 to 1,000, that's a heavy cruiser usually. Which is also why the Nebula class Star Destroyer just narrowly comes in as a Star Destroyer, because had it been 41 meters shorter, it would have had to be classified as a heavy cruiser.
Yeah.
And Destroyer usually goes from 1 to 2 kilometers in size.
Yeah, but you also have to think about that the Nebula is a pocket Star Destroyer.
True.
It is a full-fledged Star Destroyer pulled into a much smaller hull.
You know, if I had to have a Star Destroyer in my pocket, even a Nebula, I would need some bigger pants.
That is true. But you know, that's just a nickname.
True.
For a small ship with heavy firepower. Like if you look at the Germans, World War II.
The Deutschland class.
Pocket battleships.
Yeah, the Deutschland class.
Yeah, they were essentially cruisers, but with battleship guns.
Yeah, 11 inches.
Yeah, which is much bigger than a normal cruiser, because they are normally only 8 inches at a heavy cruiser. And 6 inches at the highest on a light cruiser.
But then again, they only had like 3 inches of armor.
True.
At the max. And that was over lethal area.
But they were also built on the practice. What they couldn't beat, they could outrun, and what they could beat, they could outgun. I think that's the same principle that they used on much of the new class program. Because if you think about it, many of their standard ships are actually smaller than the Imperials.
Yeah, they are.
But they can outmatch them. They're not a problem.
Yeah, and we can come up with 4 of them just now. MC-80B, Republic class Star Destroyer, MC-90, Majestic, and Nebula. They're all shorter than a Star Destroyer.
And then you forget the Endurance class fleet carrier.
Yeah, but then again, it's built on the same hull as the
Nebula.
Yeah, so don't know if it counts.
That is also a part of the new class program. Use the same hull for 2 designs. One for battle, and then one for support. That's mostly what it is. But if you look at the images, most of the ships don't fit into the same hull. Okay, what was it? Was it the hygiene fleet support craft or fleet replenisher? That is based on a hull from a ship that doesn't look like it at all.
I'm not sure, actually. Can't remember now that I'm thinking about it. Then again, I haven't read too much into the new class modernization program.
No, that's my specialty.
You should know.
Yeah, but I can't remember which ship it's built on right now. I think it's the what was it called?
Sachin class?
Yeah, the Sachin class. Yeah. But the Sachin is one long ship, and then again the fleet tender is like a wide ship. It's not that long; it's just wide.
Okay, well in that case, take the Sachin, turn it 90 degrees, and put engine thrusters all the way along one of the former broadsides. There you have it.
Then again, you have the problem. It's also long again. The Sachin. It's long and then wide. Where the Sachin is just small and long.
Okay. Then we'll use a hot glue gun and then put two Sachin classes together.
Maybe that would make it. But still, they couldn't build the same ship on the same hull then. Then they would need two hulls to build one ship.
Yeah, but that doesn't completely make sense.
No, that's also the Majestic class is also built with another ship in the slang, and they don't look alike.
No, not in any way.
I think the only two ships that look alike is the Endurance class and the Nebula.
Pretty much.
Because they're both formed as a Star Destroyer.
Yep.
The only thing really that's the difference is that the Endurance has a very, very tall command tower.
Yeah, and that was something that especially Admiral Akbar was not very fond of.
Just look at the MC-90.
Yeah.
One big bubble.
Yep.
In the center of the ship.
Yep.
So, not a good idea. That's like taking the Star Destroyer design. The bridge is so exposed.
Yeah, just look at what happened to an asteroid that flew into it.
Yeah,
Boom.
or even the Executor got smashed by a fucking fighter.
Okay, its deflector shields were down.
True.
Well, at least the bridge deflector shields. And it had concentrated firepower from all the remaining Mon Calamari cruisers.
True.
Which was, according to my knowledge, 7 at the time.
And that is just so funny because I don't think we see that many in the movie.
No, we don't. We see the Home One and we see Liberty. That's all that we see.
And we also see a Witness, huh?
Right. Actually, we see 2.
2 Liberties.
Yeah, just before the A-Wing smashes into the actual cockpit.
Sure.
There you can see them in the background.
Yeah.
But
if they just had been faster to activate the second bridge, they could have saved the Executor.
Yeah, and no. And the reason for that is because by this time they were so close to the Death Star that they were pulled in by the gravity field.
True.
And the tractor beam.
And the tractor beam?
Well, I would argue that the Death Star did use its tractor beam to some degree to also hold the rebels there. Because if it used its tractor beam while the Imperial fleet surrounded it from all sides, they would be in for a massive... they would be in for a major butt-kicking.
Yeah. But well, even if the Empire lost their precious Executor, they still had many armies of them in the EU.
Yeah, they had 12, right?
Yeah, 12, and then the Executor was the 13th. They had 13, but
Well,
the Executor was still active.
Well, the Executor was the first one.
Yeah, that's true. And then the sister ship, the Executor 2 in the beginning, and then it was renamed Lusankia.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Wrath, Dominator, Iron Knight,
Annihilator,
Nighthammer.
Well, go right ahead.
I can't remember the rest of them right now.
Oh.
Well, because there are quite a few names.
Well, you remembered more of them than I did anyway.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's more keen on, his knowledge is bigger on Star Destroyers, whereas mine is bigger on the Mon Calamari ships.
That's true.
And, well, I did say that the MC-90 is my favorite ship of all time, but then again, you could say that in the end I love all Mon Calamari ships, all ships of the MC class. I even find the Radis, the MC-85, very interesting.
Yeah, I hope they will put in some more details about it at some point. Just to see where does it fit. Does it fit in between somewhere?
It fits as a battle cruiser.
Sure.
I think it's 3,400 meters long.
Yeah, sounds right. I actually saw, I can't remember which, was it the Star Wars remake mod for Empire War Force of Corruption? I think he actually made a model for it.
Probably.
I can't remember.
Probably.
He probably didn't, but I don't know if it's in the mod though. But that's also where we get much of our knowledge, just from mods for the Star Wars Empire War game.
Not only that, but in general, whenever I do versus videos, at least, I always study up on the very ships a lot using the sources that I can find. But mostly when I use the mods in the versus videos, I basically just use the mods for illustration of the ships that I'm using.
Yeah, because in a game, units have to be balanced.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just throw in a mega overpowered ship.
Nope.
But if you play Thrawn's Revenge and you reach Era 3, we'll have some big problems because Palpatine has his Eclipse, and then the Empire can build 2 Sovereigns.
Yeah, Sovereign class Sovereign class dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
Which is basically a pocket Eclipse.
Aren't they actually the Superstar Destroyers? But well, a Dreadnought is a Superstar Destroyer.
Basically.
All Superstar Destroyers are in the Dreadnought class.
Everything over 5 kilometers is considered a Dreadnought.
Yeah, well then they are, because they are only 1 kilometer shorter than the Eclipse.
Apart from one.
Which one was that?
Dreadnought class heavy cruiser.
True. But well, it also says that in its name. Dreadnought Heavy Cruiser.
Yeah.
But well, the name could be a bit fussy if you are not sure.
Yeah, I was part of a roleplay group on Facebook at some point, and well, there was a person there who asked, because I was an admin there, and they asked if their faction could actually use the Dreadnought class heavy cruisers. But what she wasn't aware of was the fact that I understood it as a Dreadnought class heavy cruiser. What she thought, on the other hand, was that it was an Executor class Star Dreadnought. So there was kind of a problem there.
It was.
We did agree, though, that when she did have around, was it 200 dreadnoughts or so, we did agree that having 200 Executor class Star Destroyers or Star Dreadnoughts would probably be a little tad OP.
Just a little? Where would you get all the resources?
That's a different story.
It took what was it, was it 3 or 4 years for the Executor to be built? I can't remember. But also that was that was actually the second ship they built in that type. They had a prototype called the Sarlacc project where it was 12 kilometers long. That was the prototype.
Same as a Mandator 3 then.
Yeah, but it was destroyed before it could be used.
Probably by the rebels.
Yep. Early rebels.
Well, they were there regardless.
Yeah, true.
So,
well, that is as far as I know all the so-called Superstar Destroyer / Executor classes. And then, of course, the Emperor was building the Eclipse about Kuat. And then I think it was 4 Sovereigns that was also currently being built at this, of course, together with the Eclipse 2.
Possibly.
That is as far as I know from the, what was it called? Shadow of an Empire, I think the book is called. It's a small series where the reborn Emperor returns.
Is it made by Dark Horse Comics?
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's Legends material. Definitely.
Yeah, come on.
For some. And no, I'm not saying that I consider the new Disney timeline over the old Legends. But the new Disney canon does have some plus points, but so does Legends.
Legends just has more, currently.
Yes, but one major complaint that I have about the Legends continuity is the fact that there are so many things squished in at one time. The authors of the different stories haven't really been talking to each other, haven't really been taking into account very much the timeline, so in theory, Luke could be at 3 places at once.
Yeah.
and it's such a
That's kind of disturbing.
Yes, and there I gotta give the point to Disney because at least they have their timeline set. We know exactly what and when it happens, who is involved, and and when does it, and where's the location, basically.
Yeah.
Just to come with an example.
Yeah, but also we have to wait a bit. Disney hasn't been in control that long.
Exactly. But another thing that I gotta give to Disney, though, or should I say Marvel in this case, are all their new Vader comics, which really seem to be hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And they really put a lot of glory into Vader as a character.
Mm-hmm. And they're describing him very good.
Indeed. So, and I have a feeling that I'm going to go into crossfire from this.
Probably.
And if it doesn't happen here in the live stream itself, it might just happen in the comments at a later point.
But well, you also have to think like that many enjoy the new stuff and some just don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fair enough. Like I don't like The Last Jedi. I just said that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just don't like it. I have my opinions about it, but I don't want to go into details about it. Well, those that love it, well, you love it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're welcome to love it, but, well, in my opinion, it's just not a good movie. Maybe as a standalone, but as in a series, no.
No, I would agree there, because as a Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi is terrible, in my opinion at least. But as a standalone movie, just like that, I would say it's pretty decent.
It is.
It has nice effects and all. The acting is
decent.
Yeah, and it has an okay story in that regard. It just doesn't fit very well in with a Star Wars movie.
True. But also, if you look at many that have hated the movie or something like that, they have gone after the actors themselves. It's not the actors' problem.
No.
It is the goddamn character they play.
Yes, exactly. Never go for the actor itself or actress. Like the woman who portrayed Rose, she deleted both her Twitter and Instagram because of all the hate. The guy who voiced Jar Jar Binks considered suicide for many years because of all the hate he received. I mean, these people, they are paid to do a piece of work. They are not the people who should be targeted. Target the producers. Target those who funded. Target the director.
And the script writers.
And the writers of the script, yes. But not the actors themselves, because they're just getting paid to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or they have signed a contract over that many years, or for that many movies.
Yes.
And then they just get screwed over.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mark Hamill did, in my opinion at least. I find that he was screwed over by Rian Johnson.
He was, because there wasn't a single thing that he actually liked about playing Luke no more. He had his own plans and everything. And his wishes was also completely disregarded by J.J. Abrams, who basically just gave him a cookie, patted him on the shoulder, and said, yeah, now move along. Which Mark Hamill has also said himself. And if you watch some of the interviews and everything behind the scenes, but from The Last Jedi, you actually see he never smiles when it comes to it. He is not enjoying what he's doing. And he is an actor, and also as actors, you should also be able to actually enjoy what you're doing. But the problem is, he wasn't.
Yeah, you can also see, I can't remember what his real name, but the kid that played Anakin in the first
Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, he actually quit acting after that because he was just bullied like hell.
Mm-hmm. He was bullied all over because of his role in Star Wars, and there's a problem because, again, going for the person, not for the character they play, that's just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because in theory, they're just people, or in actual reality, they're just people just like us.
And they're doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
Like you do every day.
Yes.
You stand up every day, get your breakfast, or don't, depends on the person. You make yourself ready, you go to work. Maybe you hate your work. I don't know. Or you love it. That is the same that they do. Sometimes they just get a crappy script, but they have signed a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Hamill had signed the contract for 3 movies.
Yeah.
So, well, as far as we know, he will return in the next.
Most likely as a Force ghost.
Probably. I don't know how they are gonna make it else, or they maybe just continue with the story about Jake Skywalker and Luke Skywalker, where they just say, well, the person that Rey met is not Luke, he's Jake. Have you read about that?
No.
Oh, okay.
What's that all about?
That's something, I don't know if it's true or something, but they actually put it up like that, Luke, that was not Luke, that was just his, like, one that looked like him. Also powerful in the Force. But Luke is still alive, somewhere else. Even R2 mistaked him. But I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know.
I have just read it. I think actually Jake has his own Wikipedia site now. I don't know if somebody else wrote it, because Wikipedia is a site where you just log on and you can write about whatever you want.
Yeah. And yet even most professors nowadays actually see it as a credible source.
Well, yeah.
Regardless of how you want to look at it.
Yeah. So, well,
I
don't know if you can, but again, I have just read it. I'm not sure if it's true or not.
No.
It's just something that popped into my head.
Well, that's how it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but okay, all Star Wars movies have that flaw. They have maybe some shitty characters.
Every Star Wars movie has its flaw.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at Luke. When he sees his Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen burn in front of his house, the only family he ever knew, he's turning his head around and feeling a bit sad. But he shows more emotion over the loss of Obi-Wan, a character or a person whom he's known for 2 days?
Maybe more, because they took a few days to get to Alderaan. At last, that is what they say. That is also one thing that is not paced correctly in the new movies. We see Rey go to Luke in the end of the Force Awakens. Then we continue in The Last Jedi, where suddenly she can do so much more.
Not only that, but just look at Kylo Ren's facial injury that he got from Rey. That thing has been magically healed in 5 minutes? 10 minutes?
Yeah. Because it's not gone that long.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly we also see that Snoke has taken a good portion of the maybe First Order fleet and just know where the rebels are, or the resistance.
That too. And how would they be able to track them without a tracking device?
Yeah, because they, as far as I know, they didn't follow the resistance back to their system. I can't remember what name it was.
I wouldn't know. And there are some camera settings that aren't completely right, it seems.
What?
Well, Lucky says here. Welcome to the stream, by the way.
What is wrong, Lucky? Because at our side it looks kind of normal.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what could be wrong.
2 Danes staring intently at a comment.
Yeah. Actually, I'm looking at the camera right now just to check if I can see something.
Rainy.
That's probably good, because we are using the laptop built-in camera. They sometimes have a bit of blur in it, so it looks like kind of small rain everywhere. Or small sand corns, or what you call it.
He's the IT guy.
Yeah, I'm educated IT supporter, so I know such things.
So, how are you doing, Lucky?
Oh, Emperor actually left.
Yeah, he did. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I just didn't really see it.
That's great. So, Lucky, since you're the most obvious person here, what are your 3 top favorite ships? We already covered ours earlier in the stream.
Yeah, you can see that when the movie gets up on YouTube.
I know. It rang a bell instantly. Don't worry. Just reply to his comment. So, And I ran out of cola.
Should I get you a new one? Can you go yourself?
No thanks. Don't worry. It's fine.
Don't drink too much caffeine before bed.
Caffeine has no effect on me.
Me neither.
Never had. So
It did have at some point, but then I think I drank too much and then, well, it just died.
oh well.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's move on to something else we could discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that always comes up.
Hold on.
Vader's ship comes to midfield. Do you mean the Executor or his personal TIE fighter?
I'm thinking he's referring to the Executor.
I think so too. But I just want to be sure.
The TIE Advanced X1. So his personal fighter.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. That thing's also put down in a box.
Yeah, you have it in Lego.
Still need the TIE droid though.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, definitely. Did they ever make it?
Yes, they did. In a TIE Fighter collection pack from 2000 and was it 1, 2, 3 maybe? Worst part was that back then it was 1,800 Danish crowns. And when I was at ToyCon back in middle of August this year, where I also fought Darth Nihilus, which you heard about in a previous live stream, there it actually was. They actually sold it for 400 DKK or Danish crowns, and I wanted to buy it so badly, but
you didn't have the money.
Yes, I did, but I didn't have the space for it.
True.
And just having this big of a box, about this thick too, standing around, it would be way too tempting to actually assemble those damn things.
You could assemble it and put it up into the, what's it called, let it hang down from the roof.
Means we have to repaint the apartment too.
Yeah.
Well, we probably do anyway when we move out, but
You always have to.
Not always.
Yeah, it depends if you keep it in a good shape.
We do what we can, but you can't avoid normal wear and tear.
True. Like moving about furniture.
Yep, and if you don't break something in the process while you're moving, then you haven't done so properly.
I didn't break anything when I moved.
Then you didn't move properly.
Well, I live good.
True. Oh, but I always have a tendency that something breaks during the moving process. Even back when I moved to the Lego collection from my mom's house to my dad's house, Sebulba's pod racer back from 2000 and the year 2000 broke completely apart, and some of the parts got lost and whatever not, and that was sad. Oh, Fury class Imperial Interceptor, nice.
Oh, Republic, right?
Yes.
The standard ship for both the Imperial, what's it called, Warrior, and then the Inquisitor.
You mean Sith Warrior?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They both, that's just like the Jedi Knight and the Counselor, they both use the same, the Defender class called.
Although with some small interior differences, yeah.
But they are still the same design.
Pretty much, yeah. There's almost no difference.
Yeah.
But it's fun to think about, though. It's fun to think about.
Yeah, true. But also, I think the Fury is actually looks just like a copy-paste, as far as I remember.
Oh, it does look quite different compared to the Defender class Corvette.
Yeah, but still, it's a copy-paste for both classes.
Well, I don't know.
I have played for Sith Inquisitor and Warrior, and I know it.
Okay.
I haven't found any difference.
You win this one.
Oh.
J-Type 327 Nubian. Ah, yes, Nubian. We have lots of that.
Where?
I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't say it's Padme's ship, it's the royal ship.
Yeah.
And they actually elect their queen on Naboo.
Oh, right, yeah. But
Kind of weird, actually.
Yeah, but the election system on Naboo is basically built up in the same way as the American presidential election system.
They just get a royal title.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how many years they actually royal.
4 years, 2 terms allowed.
Okay, that's fair enough.
So, same as in the US.
Well, they just copied the US.
Well, it was based on it. But
Yeah.
then again, George Lucas is American, so that makes sense. But there actually was an American president who sat for 3 periods.
Which one?
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
True, but that was also in wartime.
True.
And he died in his last term.
In 1945.
And who was it that took over? I can't remember his name.
Well, I know that Eisenhower was president at some point.
Yeah, maybe Eisenhower. No.
No, there was another one.
Yeah, his vice president, but I can't remember his name.
I have no idea.
Hmm.
So some Americans watching this at about 56 minutes, hit us up in the comments and tell us about it.
Yeah. Because we have no idea right now.
Then again, it's not exactly our forte to know that much about the story of the U.S. because we're Europeans.
Yeah.
So
We just know that long ago many Europeans got to America.
yeah,
That's all.
yeah. And when you think about it, I actually spoke in a 4 people group on Discord about this very thing yesterday. That when in the last 1,000 years has Europe not seen some kind of conflict?
When they didn't.
Yeah, when did Europe not see some kind of conflict in the last 1,000 years?
Good question.
Exactly. There's always something going on somewhere.
We had 2 world wars in 1900.
Yep. So, it's wonderful, isn't it?
And that was only about 30 years difference between.
Yep.
But well, that's over.
Mm-hmm. And thank the makers for that.
Not only the Americans, also the Canadians.
I said thank the makers.
Oh, thank the makers. I think I said thank the Americans.
Mm. So we could get into a political discussion and all that about the World War II and the American role in it and such, but I know that would, being frank, it would piss off quite a few people.
Also, that's not what we are here for.
That's pretty true, yeah. This was supposed to be about Star Wars.
Yeah, but well, a discussion can quickly go into other different parts as well.
Oh yes, it's easy to get sidetracked, especially when you actually got something going.
Yep, true. But well, back to this Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can also compare that because they have actually been through quite a lot of wars as well.
Oh yes.
At least if you look through all the EU, damn, they have been through many wars.
When is there not conflict in the Star Wars universe?
After the Rousseau Reformation, until the Clone Wars. They have not been a total war. There's been only quite a small skirmishes.
Stark Hyperspace War?
That was before.
Yeah, that was before the Clone Wars.
Yeah, but also before the Rousseau Reformation.
Stark Hyperspace War was 20 or 30 years before the Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, okay, then one war then.
Didn't the Sith hide for 1,000 years? Yes, they did.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was after. Yeah, that is actually. That must be after the Rousseau Reformation.
Not sure.
Because the Rousseau Reformation actually quite old.
Right.
Because I think it was, what was it? The Rousseau Reformation was after the Battle of Rosan, which ended the Sith.
Right. And then there were only 2 left, apparently, or 1 left, and then.
Darth Bane, yeah, people still left.
Mm-hmm.
And, at least in the EU, I don't know if it's still canon.
Not sure, actually.
No, because, well, as far as I know, that is from the expanded universe.
Mm-hmm. It is. But yes, the Sith did hide for 1,000 years, but still in between there were some skirmishes and some other conflicts that the Jedi had to attend to.
Yeah, but those weren't wars, they were conflicts, small conflicts. Not like the bigger wars.
I would still call it a war if it's planet-wide.
Most of them were just small skirmishes.
I don't know.
And they were mostly ended with help of the Jedi or the Justical Force.
Either one.
But also after the Russian Reformation, the Republic didn't have a navy anymore or an army.
Well, they tried not to have a navy, or at least tried to cut down on it.
They didn't have one. They just had the Jedical Force at that point.
Oh, right.
And they weren't an army. They were a few thousand maybe. And they were just used for, what is it called? Yeah, Justical Force.
So where did the Katana fleet come in?
That was a project to strengthen the Jedical Force because they could use them automatically with help of slaving.
All right, then. Technically, the Jedi weren't in war with the Mandalorians.
Well, it depends on what time era you're in. If you look at the Mandalorian War, well, the Jedi weren't officially in war with them, but still many Jedi took part in it.
Exactly. So you could, in a way, say that the Jedi Order was at war.
Yeah, or Splinter Group. Yeah, it's from the old Republic era.
Yeah.
But also, the Mandalorian haven't really made any war after that because they were totally annihilated.
Yeah, after that was the Jedi Civil War.
Yeah, true. Because Revan and Malak, they got into the unknown regions and found, what is it called again? The Shadow World where the Emperor lives in.
CountKaos.
Where they were then seduced to the dark side. And then they started the Jedi Civil War when they found the Star Forge.
Yes, something like that.
But then they almost annihilated the whole Jedi Order.
Until Malak was a PUSSY, and instead of facing Revan like a man, he decided to fire on Revan's ship.
Yeah, because he had been knocked on. He was already in a fight with Jedi's at that point.
That's a different story. Fact of the matter is, I still see Malak as a well, to put it nicely, let's put it this way. Oh, he wasn't weak at all, actually. Revan was just smarter because, in actual reality, the fighting style that he used, his Form 4 Ataru, mixed with what's it called, Form 5 Jimso, and some elements of Form 7 Juyo. Those are all offensive styles, and if you actually look at it, Malak did have a great offense, and he did have great brute force. He really knew how to power his way through. He was a real warrior. Problem was that Revan was a generalist, and he had a lot more strategy and tactic in his mind, and he knew how to work his way around all this. And Malak's greatest weakness was if he was countered with an offense as great as his own, because then his defense would completely fall apart. And that's where Revan caught him off guard, where he cut off his jaw the first time. So I also think that Malak was a little bit
cocky. Or overestimated his own power.
Not only that, but also the fact that Revan in general just was smarter. He was a much better leader. He was pretty much better at everything, and he was a generalist all the way through. Malak was a lot more specialized in some things. And then I guess he didn't want to lose another part of himself, like the top of his skull, for example, if he had fought Revan again.
Yeah.
Now, actually, that come to think about it, Vader versus Malak, that would be a nice match.
Again, I find it hard to put up like Siths from different eras because if you hear what's the Kreia ship was named?
Yeah.
She actually says that the power that the old Sith had was so much greater than what they have now. Just look at Tula Court.
And just look at the statements made by George Lucas that Darth Sidious was the most powerful Sith Lord to ever exist.
Yeah.
And yet, Yoda could match him, and Windu genuinely defeated him.
Yeah, true. It's only because Anakin cut off his arm.
Yes. So 5 versus 1 Revan would have won. Sorry, Lucky, what do you mean by that?
I think it's because when we talked about when Malak attacked Revan, he was in the middle of the fight.
Oh, right, yes.
And I'm not sure if it was 5 or it was 3.
It was a Jedi strike team, and Bastila was part of it, but not sure.
And she was smart. And she was also quite strong.
She was quite strong, but I still see her as being a bit too young.
Yeah, true. She was still young.
Mhm.
But, well, she had the beautiful power of battle meditation.
Yes, but she has to sit down.
True. Well, that's kind of hard to say if Revan would have won, because the full Jedi strike team is not just that easy to beat. But he might have. I can't say it because we haven't seen it in the game or in the movie.
You gotta remember that Revan is the kind of character, or is the kind of person in general, who always has a plan.
True.
He always has a main plan. He always has a backup should the main plan fail. And he always has a backup for the backup should something happen and you're laughing at the TV. But regardless of that, Revan is my second favorite character of all time. You can guess which one's the first one.
Yeah, well, I know it, so I don't have to say anything.
Exactly. I think it goes in the name of the channel. Bingo. So, third character. No, that's a tough one. And no, it's not Vader. No, it's not Yoda. No, it's not Luke.
Mace?
No.
No.
Kyle Katarn.
True.
Come to think about it, seeing a battle between Kyle Katarn and Revan would be interesting.
Yeah. But I just find it so problematic to fit two different timeline characters into a battle.
Imagine how it is to put ships up against each other.
Yeah, especially if they come, but most of the time you pick ships that come from the same era.
That's true. And mostly I try to put rivals against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like Providence versus Venator, for example. Ouch.
Those are enemies like hell.
They are direct opponents.
There you go.
And opposites.
But they were also used in the same time era, so fits really good.
True.
What was I thinking about now? Yeah, now that's good.
I won't say anything.
No, it just flew out of my mind. Well, yes, now I can remember. But if you look at the story of Tulak Horde, I would say he's actually the strongest of all Sith.
Possibly.
Because if you read through his holocron, he actually had found the secret to eternal life.
Okay.
But since he was killed, and he stored all his knowledge in different places of the galaxy, it just got lost.
That's kind of sad, actually.
Mm.
Also, it is said that Bane was the one who initiated the rule of two.
True.
In all honesty, though, it wasn't even Bane who actually started it.
Who was it then?
I would actually give the credit to Revan.
True, because he only had Malak as his apprentice.
Yeah, as his somewhat apprentice in a way.
Yeah, while all the other Siths in the army, they were actually just assassins.
Mm. But not only that, the reason why is simply put because Revan even stated in the holocron that anyone training more than one Sith apprentice at a time was a fool, because eventually those two could work together in trying to take down their master instead of having only one apprentice and one master. A master to embody the power, an apprentice to crave the power, which means that this should only create more incentive for the apprentice to actually surpass the master in every way. That is the essential rule of the rule of two. But it wasn't really Bane who came up with it. It was more Revan.
Yeah.
3,000 years before Bane, even.
Maybe Bane just put it into the work.
He did definitely put it into the works in the most efficient way, yes. And the fact that he used the thought bomb didn't exactly help.
No, he just removed all the other Siths.
And Jedi.
Yeah. That was what was it called? The Found? No, what was it called? The Nexus. What was it called again?
You mean
Valley of the Jedi.
Right, that's on Rusin.
Yeah. Yeah, and therefrom comes the Rusin Reformation.
Mm-hmm.
Where they limited all ships in the Dreadnought class. Actually, I think it was from the Destroyer and upwards, they were limited to a limited hyperdrive. where they could only jump inside a special design sector or something like that.
Possibly.
All the Mandator ships came after that, and they were fitted with such a hyperdrive. Until, of course, the Clone Wars began, and Palpatine reformed the whole Navy, and all defense fleets were put into the Republic Navy.
And there we finally got the beautiful Venators.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, those things are beautiful with those red markings.
They are.
And not only that, but 3,000 Gs of maximum acceleration. Those things were fast.
Yeah.
10 times faster than a Lucrehulk class, actually.
Yeah.
Literally 10 times faster. Then again, they were 3 times smaller, but still.
But also, like, I also think that when you read about it and the Imperial class / Imperator class actually was also a good weapon under the Republic.
It was, if used correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, the flaws and the pros and cons of the Star Destroyer, at least the Imperial class, we have covered in a 1-hour video, which was only a podcast and again a nightmare to edit, but I digress. It was still very, how can we put it? More than anything, I would argue that the Imperial class or Imperator class Star Destroyer was a weapon of intimidation more than function and practicality than anything else.
Yeah. But also, if you look at the Clone Wars, like the TV series, and you look at the space battles, most of them are actually made by fighters. Most of the battle.
Definitely.
The capital ships are mostly holding back.
Because they know they're screwed if they go up against the enemy bombers.
Or also the fighters, if they come, like the droids, they can just come in a big swarm. And then overwhelm the shields, and then they make real damage like they did in the, what's it called? The storm over Geonosis. No, not Geonosis, Ryloth, sorry.
Right.
You know, in Season 1 when they attack Ryloth?
Yes, a Vulture droid crashing into the bridge of the Resolute.
Actually, quite a few crashed into the Resolute.
Yes, but only one at the bridge.
True. And then a few others into the other twos.
Yes, and once one Venator was blown apart, the other one seriously damaged, and then the Resolute, who also took some beatings.
Yeah, I can't remember which one was it that fell. The Redeemer.
Yeah, and then we have the Defender.
Yeah,
which was heavily damaged but survived. Mm-hmm. But I still like the way that Anakin actually took out that Lucrehulk.
Yeah, just used a damaged ship to take out one that still was whole, even a control ship.
Yeah, but not only that, but still, it is said that one Venator class could match up between 3 to 4 Munificent class frigates, and there were like 6 or 7 of those during that battle. If you look at it this way, those 3 Venators should have actually been powerful enough to take out the Munificent class frigates without suffering a defeat, especially if they used focus fire. And another thing is the fact that the Venators, unlike the Imperial class Star Destroyers, actually had some very decent accuracy to speak of.
Yeah, but you also have to think that the Munificents were controlled by droids. Without commands from a human person, or at least a tactical droid, they weren't that smart.
Well, the tactical droids gave themselves way too much credit.
That's true, especially the Mark 1. The Mark 2 was much better.
Definitely. But not only that.
But they were also cocky as hell.
Yes, but in the versus video that I made of the Dreadnought class heavy cruiser versus the Munificent class frigate, the Dreadnought class had over 16,000 personnel to crew it. And that's a ship 600 meters long.
Sure.
Can you imagine how heavy those costs must be for one ship? And then the Munificent class, yes, it was more expensive in purchase price, but then again, 200 crews, 200 personnel was required to crew the ship. Although it doesn't state whether or not that is organics or droids, but what we see from the Clone Wars at least, it would be droids. And 1B1 battle droid is 2,000 credits a piece.
Well, the B1's cheap.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. 2,000 credits a piece.
And they were very cheap.
Actually, when you think about it, when you think about the amount of B1 battle droids from the Clone Wars, and then that times 2,000, I'm glad it ain't my bank account.
Well, you should know that most of the corporations that took part in the CIS were wealthy.
Very much so, and they had the backing of the banking clan.
Yeah.
Which also ruined themselves in the end.
Yeah, what was it? Was it in season 4? Or was it 5 that they showed that the bank were empty?
If it wasn't already season 3.
I think it was 4 or 5.
Huh.
That's why they found out that the bank was actually totally empty.
Yeah.
On both sides.
They had no physical funds in the bank vaults.
True.
But then again, there's actually also been a lot of stories, and this is actually something we can draw a parallel to in real life, because if, for example, if we take the Swiss banks, I saw a documentary on YouTube about it, at least, and been doing a few readings back and forth about this, but it actually said that Venezuela, I think it was Venezuela, or was it Peru or something, they wanted all the gold bars that they had stored in some of the Swiss banks, and they wanted them back in physical form. Thing is, those gold bars had, by the Swiss banks, been melted into rings, bracelets, whatever have you. So, on paper, those gold bars were still in the Swiss bank vaults, but they were not actually physically there.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Swiss kind of had a major problem when Venezuela, or was it Peru, wanted all their gold bars back.
Yeah.
So, you could say that's kind of bad.
But also one thing I find funny about Star Wars, that is, if you look at the credits, they come, is it in 2 different colors? Silver and gold?
Right.
The chips they have.
When you said credits, I was thinking about the credits rolling off the screen.
No. I think the credits in the universe, money. They look kind of funny, actually, because they just look like computer chips somehow in gold and silver. I don't know if they had one more color, like bronze or something like that. I have only seen the white and the gold, or silver or gold.
So the Swiss bank robbed the entire country? You could say that in a way. I can't really remember the documentary. If I find it on YouTube again, I can put it back down in the description of the video here and refer to it. But I can't make a promise there. This is many years ago. I think it's over 5 years ago or something. It's a pretty long time ago.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, if you're doubting this, I would suggest searching it up on the very well-known World Wide Web.
That's where all sources come from most of the time now.
Basically. Even though, and this is actually really embarrassing, but I still need the book Essential Guide to Vehicles.
True. But, well, it's not in our country, really.
No, it's not available. The libraries may be able to get it, but what can I use that for?
Yeah.
Then I gotta go and return it every month.
Yeah. Unlimited knowledge.
Yeah, instead of unlimited power. But hey.
Well, okay, if you look at it, even though Emperor says that he has unlimited power, he still died.
True.
Of course, if you then take the expanded universe into account, he found a way to cheat death.
Yes, and
even though it was not really that good, I would say.
Oh, and when it comes to this, having to create clone bodies and such, did you then really cheat death? I don't think so.
Yeah, and also because if you think about it, the clones, they couldn't stand up to the power of the dark side. The dark side damaged them.
Yes, deteriorated them way too quickly.
Yeah, that's also why when you look at Sith, they look like they are slowly falling apart.
Basically, but that's again because the dark side is deteriorating to a person, whereas Jedi, for example, take Dooku, a man who died at the age of 80, he still looked very decently for his age.
True.
Because he had the light side in him, preserving him for so long. I mean, you couldn't see a single wrinkle in Windu's face, and he died at the age of, was it 53?
Yeah.
The middle of his 50s, around that?
Mm-hmm.
So the light side really keeps you going, and then, of course, we have the most obvious example.
Yoda.
Exactly.
Well, died at 900 years
Mm-hmm.
and could still walk.
Yes, although he did have arthritis, and he was very he did feel pain when he had to use his muscles a lot, and he was drawing very heavily on the Force.
Mm.
And yet, even with all that, he was still matching Sidious, and even slowly overtaking Sidious in every regard. When, for example, you saw Sidious giving him the full power of the dark side with lightning, Yoda came back.
Oh, that's true. He's not even humanoid.
Oh, that's true.
So maybe that could also tell that his race maybe lived for longer.
The species in general was longer living than humans, I will give you that. But I still think 900 years is
Quite much.
Yeah. But considering this, talking about Yoda, I honestly do consider him superior to Sidious.
Same here. I think that actually Yoda would have won that battle.
It does say so in the novelization, though, that he couldn't, because Darth Sidious was too strong. But some of the things from the novels, they kind of lose their credibility when the movie shows something differently. Because the movie was directed by George Lucas, the creator of the universe, and I still see it this way. What he says goes.
Yeah.
Apart from one thing. And Yoda in Battlefront 2 is a pretty scary enemy. Which Battlefront 2 are you talking about?
The classic or the new one?
Yeah. But apart from that, talking about Yoda again, new one. Well, that's the one I would call Battlefront 4.
Yeah.
But what have you. But yeah. And then I honestly, if I have to talk about the Battlefront games, I do prefer the two first ones. I think that's got something to do with nostalgic reasons as well, but still. Or what do you think?
Yeah. I would say, of course, the new ones look very good graphically. But as far as I know, I haven't played them. I don't know why. But just what I have heard from friends and so on and reviews, it's just not the same. They have totally changed it somehow into like a battlefield, which the old ones weren't.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the good one.
The 2005 one, definitely.
Yeah.
Though the PS2 version of Battlefront 2 came out in 2004.
True.
I still remember it because I got it during Christmas 2004. And I wasn't allowed to play it until a week after, when basically New Year's was over, and I was, put it mildly, pissed at that. But it was it was fun. It was really fun. And holy crap, did I tear a lot of rebels apart using the Wampas.
That was a fun battle.
Oh.
Somehow what is it called, Hunt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow the Hunt is always fun. But I don't like the Tusken versus Javas. I don't know why. I just find that it's not fair somehow.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The Jawas do stand up to it pretty well. It's interesting that Disney activated servers for the old Battlefront 2 just before the launch of Battlefront 7, just before Battlefront 2017.
Maybe because people had a problem with the new Battlefront, that they didn't like it that much, so they actually reactivated the old 2005 servers.
Possibly.
I'm not sure. I am not really following the Star Wars game currently. I am still waiting for the Disney / EA / DICE to make a new strategy game.
When?
I'm waiting for them to make one.
Oh.
They haven't announced anything, but they need to make like an Empire war game again. Just with new servers and that. For nostalgic. Yeah, okay. That gives good sense.
Well, it's one of the few times Disney did something right.
Yeah. But also, if you look, the mod community for Star Wars Battlefront 2005 is actually still active
Yes,
and producing quite a lot of mods.
yes, but still, that pales in comparison to the mod community behind Star Wars Empire at War Forces of Corruption.
That's true.
I mean, that game is just about as old as...
Well, it's kind of hard to update a game that already runs on the latest patch.
True.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, maybe we should check that out.
For which one?
Forces of Corruption?
Well, maybe.
Don't know.
I run the Steam version, so that gets the latest updates no matter what.
True. I really should get mine on Steam too. Still got the old physical disc. 3 of them. For some stupid reason.
Well, because one broke, right? And one slipped away.
Yes. And once again, the third one I can't find.
True.
I have it somewhere. It got lost while moving. But I don't know where. That's interesting.
Well, I have it on Steam, so.
Yeah, same. And if you want to find it if you want to find me on Steam, it's Lord Zirk. Same as the YouTube channel once was. Ooh. Empire at War. Great game.
Well, Empire War was a good game, but I find Force of Corruption was better because it also had better mod support.
And not only that, but also just the fact that you actually got some very interesting ships. Like the Aggressor class Star Destroyer, the Keldabe class battleship, which is one of the few ships in Star Wars that is actually called a battleship. How many other ships can you think about?
True. The Kinderai class battleship.
Which one?
Kinderai. Mandalorian ship.
Doesn't surprise me then. And then, of course, that all-wonderful Vengeance class frigate. No shields, very heavy armor,
Cloaking.
and a nasty punch.
Yeah, what was it, 4 mass drivers? It has 2 hard points with mass drivers, of course, in there.
But yeah, I think...
But it has 4 cannons. If you run some mods, it's of course different from mod to mod. It has 4.
Okay.
And you can also see it has 4 cannons. It has 1 above, 1 under the wing.
Nice.
So, but of course, the main game is of course a bit limited to hard points. And also to weapons because, well, balance and everything.
True.
Of course, and also the Aggressor. Only 2 turbo lasers, but have a nasty punch until the main weapons are gone.
Yep.
But then again, it can also blow up.
Oh yes, if it can't win the battle, it might as well just approach the enemy and then blow itself up, doing self-destruction. Works pretty well.
Yeah, I think actually one of the captains says, if I can win, I will take you with me, or something like that.
Yeah. I think I even stated that in the Versus video where it went up against the home one.
Probably. I can't remember.
But now I'm actually starting to doubt myself.
Well, you will just have to look it up after this.
Yeah.
But I think we will go to bed after that. It's already 2:30 here. Or almost.
Oops.
So, also need some sleep. We only have weekend once in the week.
Yeah. Sad, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that we should also get Friday as a free day.
Well, if you kind of think about it, Friday, F-R-I, and then think about the same word.
Yeah, I know.
In Danish.
I know. But still, so I would say we should have a free day that day. But we'll just make too much work and then have some overtime, then you can just stay at home.
There's a reason why I have over 50 hours of flex.
Only?
Yes, because I've also been to school for some
Sure.
months.
I'm happy that is finished.
You're lucky.
Well, should we end?
I don't know, it's only been 1.5 minutes. Hours.
Yeah. Isn't that long enough?
Don't know.
How long can you put videos on YouTube actually? It's not only just half an hour?
No. Oh, for that. If I had been limited to only half-an-hour videos, I would have like 10 or so, or actually more than that would have to be taken down.
Okay.
Or restricted by YouTube. But it was once like, when I just started out, I wasn't allowed to do videos any longer than 10 minutes.
Sure.
Imagine how hard that was when I had to review something like the Republic gunship back in 2009. Trust me, it was a major pain. Oh, don't do that, you're contagious.
I know, but I'm also getting tired.
Yes, same. So, should we end it from here?
No, we have talked for 1.5 hours now.
Yeah, doesn't feel like it.
No, time goes fast sometimes.
It does. But yeah, your tiredness or sleepiness is contaminating me too.
Yeah, it came calling.
Mm-hmm. So, but I think we'll like to round it off from here and basically say that's it for today. Oh, trust me, I'm aware.
Well, depends on how much sleep you also got from yesterday to today. No, from Friday to yesterday. Had to remember it's Sunday now.
Right.
Yeah. See you at some point.
Indeed. Well, to everyone who watched, and Lucky and Ben, may the force be with you. And you're gonna say anything for?
Goodbye.
Okay, guess that works. Well, may the force be with you all. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and bell button. And guess that's pretty much it.
And remember to go to Lightspeed.
Yep, remember to set your Navicomputer and make the jump to Lightspeed, because that's what I think we're both going to do after this.
Yep.
So, may the force be with you, and we'll see you in the next video. There may be a video coming up soon.
Yeah.
Alright, take care everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.